Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, and Herman. We welcome to Hobby Hotline. We are your live call-in talk show every Saturday morning and Tuesday night, talking about cards, talking about sports, talking about making fun of each other, and talking about skid marks. So we're late. We just started talking and got to laughing pre-show. So sorry about being about 35, 40 seconds late, but that's what happens when you get a couple of bald guys together. So
Can we play the intro video again, Brad?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it right
Okay,
here. Hold on. Wait a second.
Thanks. Awesome. Herman just strangled a few of his chickens over there.
Oh man, Mr. Keating, how are you doing today?
I'm real good. Better than good.
Things are doing well in the city of brotherly love.
Yes. It's beautiful here.
Most excellent. And Captain Skidmark, PSA Hall of Famer. Sorry about that. Go ahead, John.
You just can't help where you're from. That's what I always say. So go ahead.
I hear you. Or who your family is.
True.
Or who your family is. Mr. Captain Skidmark. Captain Skidmark, PSA Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer in Hobby Hotline and number one in our hearts. What's up, Logan?
Oh, not much, man. It's kind of dark and dreary here today, but I'm on with you guys, so it's all good now.
It is all good, man. When you're talking cards, talking sports, and just having a blast. So can't really, just like you can't really down that. So well, you could, but then you'd be Debbie Downer. So
what's the weather in Texas today, Brad?
Yeah, weather
give us an update.
It's overcast, but it's going to be about 75, 76. So it's going to be like the Cowboy season. It's going to start out great and then go downhill from there. So
next year, right? Next year is your year.
Yeah, it's always next year, man. It's next year. Next year we're gonna win it. We're gonna win it all. Yeah.
And then there'll be another two Jerry Jones kids coming out of the woodwork.
There we go. Year, right? So I need y'all to watch the comments, and in the comments we need to make sure you watch out. We have got a contest alert for a pack fresh Wander Franco Tops Living. I love that. Pack Fresh Tops Wander Franco Living. It's sitting here right next to me. I've started a contest. It is that 70s card top comment of the hour or hour and a half. So the funniest comment, the number one comment, is voted on by the three of us. I will be sending out this Pack Fresh card. So I thought I'd add a little spice to the life today. A little spice to the life. Get a little action going.
So Herman's comment right out of the gate is the leader, in my opinion. 2 men and a baby.
Now it's up to us to decide.
That's right.
It's who the baby is. That's scary. Why am I laughing? I don't know what he's talking about.
I want to know who the baby is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now you're pledging a different sorority. There we go, right there.
All right. Where's Mrs. Cooter today? We miss Mrs. Cooter. She's the funniest one out of the bunch.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I do want to give props to, and good morning to everybody at the sports card shop at MoCo. Welcome. Thank you for putting us on the big screen. And just so everybody else will know, Skidmark.
Wow. Got a plug in for Home Depot there today, too. We got some big sponsors, huh?
That's right. Well, I'm trying to get the sponsorship. up. So I'm trying to get the sponsorship up. So I call in, join in, aggravate myself and aggravate, of course, everybody else on. Let's get started with at least one topic. We can get some topics going here. How about Brady Ball and buyer's remorse? Let's start with that. So the Brady Ball got sold, And then the next step was Brady offered 1 Bitcoin as kind of a sorry, and then 1 Bitcoin being 40,000 today, $40,456. So the next part in this equation is they agreed to return the Brady Ball, or accept the return of the Brady Ball. And I found this very interesting. The buyer reportedly had two things going for them, according to their attorney. They never actually paid for the Leland's ball. They just won it in an auction. And two, Leland's had clearly described the ball as Tom Brady's last touchdown pass football in this listing, which is no longer true.
Well,
So go ahead.
technically, it's still true. Technically, it's still true. He hasn't thrown another touchdown pass yet. We're all assuming he will.
And they didn't put last ever touchdown. I'm sure in the description it said last touchdown pass. It could have been the last touchdown pass of 2021 or the playoffs, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of lawyers out there that read those sentences different ways that we do, right?
Absolutely. Well, the next question is, what happens if he has a catastrophic injury and can't play anymore before he throws another touchdown? Does he then owe that money, or does he have the rights to that ball? I mean, that's kind of interesting. What do you think, there, Mr. PSA Hall of Famer?
Well, if he suffers a catastrophic injury before he throws another touchdown, well, then I guess it reverts back to, what it was advertised as before. I know crazier things have happened. I don't see anything like that happening, but crazier things have happened in the past. I would say it would go back up for auction, and who knows what it would fetch. But I just don't think that's going to happen.
I think we got to get back to the base, the ground floor of the situation. Whoever bid on this thing, first of all, there was an agreement when you registered a bid, right, that you'll pay for the item, right?
Yes.
Every auction that I've ever participated in, that's the case. Secondly, it's a gamble. It's always a gamble when you buy anything like this. And why are we placating somebody who bid $500,000 on a football that could or could not have been his last? And then why are they crying foul when Brady unretires? I don't understand that. You make your bed, you sleep in it, right? It's the same thing with the people that send their cards in the PSA a year and a half ago, and now those people that they graded aren't worth anything right now. So or those rookies that they speculated on aren't worth anything now. So I don't know. I think this is an indictment on memorabilia in general. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we that person should be made to pay for that football? They signed an agreement, and they should be kept to it. And I stand by my statement I made a while ago that this football is still worth a lot of money, and it's going to be worth a lot of money just because of its provenance now. The provenance of the thing is through the roof.
Yeah, I agree. And that was one of the things that I'm was thinking of. So now this ball is, it's known across the U.S. It's known across the world. It's known as the second to last, or whatever the number of Brady. It's still a Tom Brady touchdown football, which is in and of itself an amazing football. It's something that you can point to, and getting it autographed. I mean, you've already gotten a Bitcoin offer from just, hey, instead of that, here, autograph the ball for me. And then if it doesn't, I think I read it on the Hobby Hotline chat. I can't remember exactly where it was, but then let Panini or Fanatics buy it,
right?
And then there's your awesome relic insert set for your introductory football Fanatics, football, whatever. Here's your top insert, is taking that pigskin and making it into a relic card. So I still think the ball has a lot of value. Maybe not the the 500,000 that was paid for. But for me, as a memorabilia guy and guy that likes experiences, that'd be a cool one for me. That'd be a cool one for me. I don't know if I'd flop 400 grand down for it, but what about
Wouldn't it be
you?
nice? Wouldn't it be nice if you screwed up and you can just suddenly say, "Well, I don't, forget it. I want to go back to the way things were," and that's what this guy is doing, or gal, or company who tried to buy this ball. So
Yeah, oops, my kid accidentally hit the submit button.
right,
That's what I kind of liken it to.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to sympathize with somebody who actually has that kind of money to spend on something like that. I mean, I agree, John. I mean, you ponied up. You said this is what you would pay. You signed the contract that said you were going to pay this, and you should pay for it. The consequences. You can't help, but like you said, it's the chance that we take anytime we buy anything. I mean, there's a lot of speculation in this hobby. Whether you're spending $100 or $500,000.
right.
Yeah, and this is a great comment here because the issue of it changing between the end of auction and payment made. Yeah, I don't know the legalese, but that's actually pretty fascinating in and of itself. It's like it is kind of like the oops button. Oops, you know. I, I can understand that. And another great comment. Remember, the ball for the 600 was valued by people at 500K, so that bid made sense. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And now Herman's got, a person would be crazy to bid on anything called Brady's last whatever. So that makes sense. That makes sense. We'll do some good mornings here. Good morning to you, Mr. Rich Klein. Uncle Rich, good morning. Good morning. And we'll do a big, huge, great good morning to father of the hand model, Mr. Herman. And then good morning, Mr. Turkey Cards. Good morning to you. And then let's see who else is in the chat. We got Mr. Kutlev. Good morning. Good morning to you. Well, oh my gosh, we've got a Jenny Miller sighting. Good morning, Miss Jen. Good morning, Miss Jenny.
I think summer's over in Minnesota for Jenny. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
back to winter.
And then we cannot forget Mr. Chad Shipper. Good morning. Good morning. And then I did put in if you wanted to call in, join in, be part of the show. If you don't, then that's okay. We're not going to flog you or anything, but wanted people to at least be able to join in and then hit that like and the subscribe button. All right, we're 13 minutes in and we've only laughed once. That's not so.
Very somber time right now.
I know it is. I know, Mr. PSA Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
I ordered chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. Oh, Mr. Keating, did you know that you could get Topps cards at Lids?
No, I didn't know that. I know that now, and we had assumed that would happen. Rich Klein says that every day he stares at a lid store when he goes on his walk and sits on a bench. So sure, Rich will have a little heavier wallet when he goes to the mall and a little lighter wallet when he leaves the mall from now on.
Yeah, yeah. And then, what's up, Drew? What up, DH? What up? I what's really cool about this, and I think I can't wait until there's sports cards, and I've had discussions on people outside of the hobby about this. Um, Sports card. Remember, you used to have sports cards at baseball parks, and you used to have sports cards at football stadiums and at hockey rinks, and I mean they used to be absolutely everywhere. How cool would it be to have? And I heard this. I think I heard this on Jim's on Jim Beckett's podcast of Dr. Beckett's podcast. Excuse me. On just having special cards for the actual stadium itself. So you go to like Ranger Ballpark, there's special foil Texas Ranger cards. Or if you go to Philadelphia Phillies, then you get special foil Reese Hoskins cards. And then now that you've got the players involved, how about the ability to sell autographed cards there at the actual store itself, authentic by the players in the locker room, so you don't have to worry about redemptions. I think that's very cool to actually go go that way. So what do you think? What do you think, Mr. PSA, Mr. Hall of Famer? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Um, it's to me, it's kind of like almost like a regional kind of thing. Which is kind of a throwback to the good old days of regional card sets where. But those things would be available online. I'm sure people would have them on eBay before you know it. So I think they would not be too hard to obtain. So I don't think there'd be any scarcity, so to say, uh, on those cards. But it's not a bad idea. I mean, it could help get people into, especially collectors, into the stadiums and things. Just a thought.
I know, John, you don't do new. You're more of a vintage guy, but I mean, think about being able to do the reprints of the vintage cards and then doing that there. What say you?
Well, do they give anything away at ballparks anymore? When I was a kid,
Actually, at the Rangers, they're doing bobbleheads. They're doing
okay,
that,
because
and actually, this weekend is the Charlie Pride bobblehead giveaway.
there used to be 30 or so promos a year, right? Which is almost
Yeah.
half the home games, and you'd look at the schedule and say, you're getting something. And I know they used to. There was team card sets for what stadium clubs back in the '90s. There's no
Hmm.
reason why they can't give these things out. I've said before that they should be giving a pack of cards to every Little League kid on Little League opening day every year. They just
That'd be
don't seem
cool.
to want to grow the hobby at all, and this might be a whole other subject. I don't know how Fanatics intends on quadrupling the hobby or 10xing the hobby if it isn't done on a grassroots level. People are either in right now or they're not in or half in. But you're if you're not in the hobby right now or in the last couple years, how hot it's been, what is going to attract people to it 3 or 4 years from now hasn't that they haven't already been attracted to at this point?
Yeah, that's a good point because that we are really tied to the youth of the hobby and what was the last show that I had a table at. A kid walked up and asked how much a card was, and I told him what it was. He's like, "Oh, okay," and he kind of walked off. I think it was like a $5 or $6 card or whatever. And I go, "Hey, here, have it." And the kid was
Right.
like, "Really?" And I made his day, and it was oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and I felt good because actually could could make that kid's day. I mean, I honestly I love giving away whenever I'm at a table free cards to kids.
Right.
It's something that I think more and more people need to do. One of my I was at the Bat Card Show in Austin last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. And I was there because a friend of mine was setting up a table. So was just sitting next to them, and a couple walked in, and they were looking for two autograph cards for their nephews for Easter. And they were just looking for, they didn't know what they wanted, they didn't know what they needed, they didn't know anything whatsoever, but they knew that their nephews wanted autograph cards or wanted an autograph card, and they thought, okay, uh, there you go, there you go, Rich, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So in my repertoire, I had two Nomar, two autographed cards, PSA holders, or not PSA, Beckett holders, and I just said, here, have this. And you'd have thought that it was the world. You would have thought. And she goes, do you have another one? And I had two of the same card. So here's both these autographed cards. And I think it had like maybe $5 in them or something like that, maybe six each. And you would have thought that again, I'd hung the moon and the world be given because it was just it was for the kids, man. It was for the kids. It was for the kids. So I feel that responsibility. What about you, Mister Hall of Famer?
Well, I agree with John on the grassroots level. I mean, because I remember when I was a kid and found out, the kids next door were collecting cards, and I thought they were really neat. We were all big Red Machine fans back then in the 70s. So I started collecting cards because of the kids next door. But I have such fond memories of those days, and some of the funnest memories. Like for example, we would go outside and trade cards, and we would lay them all on the driveway. And of course, the wind would kick up and blow some cards. And we just run and chase them and bring them back. We didn't care. And I remember those times. They were so simple, but it was so much fun. And I think, that helps build that love for the hobby. So you've got to do it, I think, at a grassroots level. I mean, I don't know that you can appeal to, investors and things like that. I think you have, if you really truly want to grow the hobby, it's got to start with kids at a young age, without a doubt.
We
Yeah, I
have a
mean
library. We have a library box in our neighborhood, and my kids are grown in college or out of college at this point. But I drop packs, team bags full of cards there every couple weeks. Just put them in there, and you know, it's great that you're doing that, Brad, and I'm doing that. But the people that can afford to do it the most and want to build a client base, we shouldn't be building their client base for them. We're trying to build the hobby, right? These guys should be building their businesses, and they don't seem to want to lift a finger to do that.
yeah. I mean that's why we're doing this. I mean,
Right.
everybody knows what I paid for this. I mean, come on, I got it from Tops. But for me, I like giving away cards. So hey, here's a free card. I know y'all know that this was a gift from Logan. You know,
Who's that? Is that Weekend at Bernie's?
yeah, it is weekend.
Oh,
It is
oh,
weekend at
that's a.
Bernie's.
Okay.
It is weekend at Bernie's. So I I love giving away cards. This Chuck, this is more your style right here.
Oh, there
That
you
was
go.
given to me.
1960 tops, right? Come on,
Yeah. Who does that look like?
do it again. Throw it up there again. I don't see it.
In the nose and in the.
You say so, Brad.
So I thought it was it was that was a gift. So I think it's more of just being a good steward, and it's more the
Right.
more we could do for the kids. Because and I even at the show and I encourage everybody to do this. Thank mom and dad for taking the kids to the show. I don't see anybody doing that, but for the mom and dad to actually do that and to actively participate, especially the moms, they don't know, and they don't care. They're
Should
just there because the kid wants to be. So
take some Bud Light with you, Brad. Give a card to the kid and a Bud Light to the parent. All right.
I thought they would be more appropriate to do like the box of Walmart wine. So that's
There
a
you
good
go.
idea, though.
Or
You just
Zima.
make sure
Right.
Ernest and Julio Gallo.
you keep that right below the
Wine
table
in a
and
box.
do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in a red solo cup.
Get a lot of activity at your table if you do that.
Do a little bit more of we got BTK in the house his house. What is up, Brody?
Brody.
What is up, Brody?
So what's the
Hey,
difference?
Brody. When two
Go ahead.
vegans get into an argument, is it still called a beef? Yeah, yeah. Had to do it for him. Had to do it for him. 3 years, made a starter collection boxes for kids at Christmas and took them. See, there you go,
Nice,
Mr.
Herman.
Herman.
That might be
There
a
you
comment of the
go.
day.
There you go. Wish I could still do it, but then boxes and supply. Boxes are getting really hard to find. They're getting really hard to find. And then
Why
we
don't we go
got
back to shoe boxes? Right? We used to put them in shoe boxes. Throw them in shoe boxes,
Mhm.
Herman.
cigar boxes. Cigar.
Right.
And then Mr. Diego. Good morning, Diego. Good morning, Diego. Man, that's not. I be red because don't be hating. Don't be hating. And Brad's the one that picked up the. Yep, that's it. That's it. That was me. And Mr. Jones. Yes, yes, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones.
That's one of the first questions I ask people when I interview on my show is who is your enabler? Because I'm curious to find out who that one person was who not only lit the spark but kept feeding the logs on the fire. Pretty important. I mean, you talk about athletes talk about that, their biggest influences and stuff like that. We have our early hobby influences are what made it happen. If not, we would have gone in a different direction, I'm sure, most of us.
So, Mr. Keating, who was your enabler?
Probably my mom. I was bribed with everything, having been lucky enough to have braces for 6 years and being a habitual fingernail biter and being lousy at school. There was many ways to bribe me to encourage better behavior. So that's my mom for sure. And I tell people my dad was the son of Irish immigrants, so he didn't have anything from his end to fall back on. But my mom was from a strong Philadelphia athletics family, so big baseball. I saw more professional games with my mom than anybody. So
That's
What
neat.
about you? What about you, Mr. Logan?
I've got a couple people actually. In 1975, my dad got
Richard Nixon.
75? Wow.
got transferred to Chicago, the Chicago area. We lived in Naperville for a year before we moved to where I am now. But I met a guy up there, um, and he was collecting cards, and he belonged to the Chicagoland Collectors Association.
Mm.
And I had no idea as a 15-year-old kid that there was an organized group of people, including adults, that collected trading cards. I thought it was just kids that did it. And he introduced me to that, took me to the meetings. I joined the club. I still have my membership card. And he enabled me, broadening my horizons to what was really, really out there. And then when we moved here to Memphis, I met a fellow named Mike Harper, and he was a collector slash dealer, and he kind of took me under his wing. I'm just a kid, and taught me a lot about cards, how to deal with people, how to deal with cards, how you know took me to shows. We went everywhere. He took me to Chicago, to Dallas, to Houston, St. Louis, Atlanta. We went to a lot of places. So those two guys were my enablers by far.
Yeah, mine was my late dad. That he was the one that took me to the first card shop owned by, I cannot remember Bill's name. I can remember it was next to Solder TV and Video. I can remember it was at Parker and Independence, right next to the Tom Thumb. I can actually smell the shop still. Bill Beckel, Bill Beckel, and we actually played softball with him, and I just remember spending hours upon hours upon hours on in his shop and with his family, and that was my dad was my enabler, and Mr. Beckel was the gentleman that owned the shop, and taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. How do we build a passion for collecting that our generation started with? If we don't build that connection from a large portion of the hobby, we'll move to the next best investment when it comes.
He's not wrong.
That
No,
is super. Let's see. And good morning, Pino Man. Giving collectors cards they need. I'm sure that's they need and can't find is the best feeling. Of course. That's how. That's probably why I push skid marks so much, is because I love that card. Because I absolutely love skid mark.
Yeah.
skid marks.
So, and that's why I push it to bring more recognition to NASCAR. So,
But you guys have noticed there's been a common theme about what we've all discussed. There's always been somebody that has, you know, developed and helped us grow our passion for the hobby. And that's part of what people need. You can give out packs of cards all day long, but you still need people to help nurture that and show people the ropes, educate them on the hobby, and those kind of things. So I think that's important as well.
no, Richie didn't say 1975. He said 1875. So,
You little Luke, you.
and my enabler was my cousin who taught me how to organize my cards. There you go. There you go. Well, we got to that. We got to talk about tops cards at lids. I know that we kind of briefly touched about this. We
Hey,
touched about
those stores, a lot of those stores are franchised, right? Lids, I don't know what the percentage is, and Lids isn't wholly owned by Fanatics, so I'm
there are.
curious what
It's
the
the same.
dynamic
It's
is there.
both. Yeah,
I
it's
thought they were
both.
partners. I thought they were partners with somebody
Yeah.
in that endeavor. So who knows what it takes to get your partner involved? Maybe you can get your cards monogrammed while you're there too, right? You can do your
Oh,
own
that'd be kind
one-on-ones
of
with
cool.
monogram threads.
There you go. Yeah, you get your cards monogrammed with Pete Alonso
Yep.
on it, and I just
But
think
we
that the cross promotion opportunity, and you're starting to slowly see it. And I think it's going to become more and more and more prevalent to be able to go someplace and have cards and
It's the way it used
memorabilia.
to be, Brad. It used to
I
be that
know,
way.
I
Every
know.
store you walked into, I didn't buy my stuff from an LCS. I bought my stuff from the deli down the street or the convenience
Absolutely.
store or Kmart, whatever. Everybody had them. They were ubiquitous, and nowadays it's a racket, right? It's controlled, and that's one way how you stifle the hobby and industry is to control and monopolize where they're sold. So crazy.
John, I remember back when I was a kid, if I had a quarter in my pocket, I was sneaking off, and if my parents knew what I did, they would have been shocked. But I would sneak off about a mile away and go to a convenience store, and for in the early days, for a quarter, I could buy 2 packs of cards and a pack of Twinkies for a quarter.
Right, right.
And that, I mean, that quarter burned a hole in my pocket. When I
Uh,
had that quarter, I had to go. I had to go then. And I,
Let's do two sticks of gum too in there,
yeah,
right?
Right.
you got
Wasn't
the
just
gum with
Twinkies.
cards.
Yeah.
And
I remember listening to NASCAR radio and somebody talking about their Twinkie and snack drawer and talking about their food drawer, hidden
Right, right.
food,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and talking about throwing it down to the kids, going free cards, free Twinkies, free
uh,
Twinkies for everybody.
that
So
was like 1976. That was a lot of fun.
In a parallel universe, somebody's naming you as their enabler, Logan. Some guy used to give you
Exactly.
Twinkies and cards. Or they're
that's
talking to the therapist about it. Either.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
as they're attending their Weight Watchers meetings.
Yeah.
So you were the one that created the more diabetics in the hobby. I see
Yeah,
how it
right.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
Oh
Herman?
wow.
What's going on, guys?
Oh,
hey,
what's
Herman. It's
going
it's
on?
it's Crip Day, not Blood Day. I don't know what you're thinking. All right.
I don't do blue much, unless it's Atlanta blue.
Uh, what's up with the Columbia today? You got Columbia here, Columbia there. What are you advertising? Trying to
Carhartt.
get
Now
us
he's
a
got some
sponsor?
Carhartt going
Oh,
too. Columbia
Carhartt.
Carhartt,
Carhartt.
Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that? I know we
It's like
need
a
sponsors.
NASCAR driver, right? He's got everything on his.
Got my
Who's your?
sponsors. Got my
Yeah.
sponsors.
There you
No,
go.
I was going. I hadn't called in a while. You posed a question. Y'all were talking about it about the who's your enabler. I actually had two, and I think I've shared this before somewhere. I don't know where, but as far as who got me started in the collecting, it'd be my mother because as I've said before, she's the one that bought my first card, I should say, when she bought the Neil Murphy for me. And she was also the one that when I got into buying packs and opening packs, she's the one that would give me a couple of dollars to get her out of her hair while she grocery shopping. And we would go next door to the drugstore and buy 87 tops and sit on the sidewalk and open them. Me and my cousin. And aside from that, as my collection grew and I got more into it, I went on in high school and was working in a hobby shop, or it was technically it was a pawn shop, but the guy had, like everybody else in the 90s, he had cards in there, and he had hired me to help sort and go through them and kind of just run things with the store part. Well, he had decided to get out of it, and I didn't want to stop doing it, so he had offered to sell it to me. So we priced everything out, and he told me what he'd take for it. And this is where my daddy comes in as an enabler, is he actually took me to the bank and co-signed with me for my first loan to buy baseball cards to start my own shop.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
And that was in he made it very clear that it was the one and only time that he was going to do it, and it was up to me whether I, kept it paid up and built my credit or let it tank and never have anything. So, I kind of learned two lessons from that. One, I was able to start my own business, be it a small business, but keeping up with my own finances. I was like 17 at the time, so did that.
That's crazy, man.
How much was the loan?
It wasn't as much as you'd think.
Well, how much was it?
It was like $2,600.
That's hey, for a 17-year-old kid back in 1832, that's a lot of money, man.
For a bunch of cardboard. For what year?
1832, man.
Even the money was printed in black and white back then.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
But no, yeah, it was in that way. He kind of became my enabler too, because my collection quadrupled or more just by him doing that for me. So, and I paid it off. I made a little bit, had a lot of fun, and I think I ran it for like 2 years, and had to get out, not by my choice, but just his part of his part of his business, because I was subleasing just like a corner in his shop, and he kind of went downhill, and he had to close shop, and I couldn't do that and pay rent on a full building too. So
those cards become part of your collection at that point? Is that what happened? The inventory?
Some of them did. A lot of them, what I had to do, because I had amassed about probably twice of what I'd bought from him, just like going out and restocking and getting inventory. And when he went out, I had to do something with it. I couldn't bring it all home and store it somewhere. So I started doing like flea markets, festivals and stuff like that. And I moved a lot that way. And then that turned into, it was going so well that I actually kept buying more to go back with it so I could keep going back and selling it to it like flea markets and all, until it eventually, it died down, and then I started kind of getting out of it a little bit. So,
did you say you had your own physical store opposite of that at one point in time, or is that
no? That was it. Yeah, it was basically I subleased a corner in his. Actually, it was in the front corner, so I had a good spot, but I don't have any square foot that you would call it, but it was four of the glass display cases, basically made up into a corner, and I had the whole corner to do what I wanted to with. So
that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I didn't know.
I was on like the I don't know what everybody else calls it. We called it. It was a work release, not a work release. That sounds like prison, but you get out of it.
Well, I have a whole bunch of questions about that then.
No, but they had DDT, not DDT.
Yeah, you get
DDT?
out of school early to go to work, right?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
had
I know
Ag
what you're talking about.
Co-op.
Yeah.
Ag
for
Co-op was
sure.
one of them where you could do it. I actually was in Ag Co-op, but I never did nothing agricultural with it. So,
Right.
but I'd get out of school at like 12 o'clock and go straight to the store, and I'd be there till 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whenever we closed down. And I had all my friends from school come in. We traded. Some people buying stuff, other people coming in I didn't know buying stuff, and it was very interesting to me.
So, who were your customers before school let out for the day? Typically, who would you get any business in there?
Yeah, we kind of had it was part of the way that I worked out my rent was during the times that I was in school, which he would open at 8 and I'd be in there at like 12. So for about 4 or 5 hours, he would watch that for me, and then like when I came in, if he had to go, I would watch his part, of the pawn shop, because
Right.
at one time I was helping with that anyway, so I already knew what was going on and what was expected.
Right.
But I mean, there were some older gentlemen or ladies, girls, whoever would come in, and like I said, he would take care of it then. So, but I mean, it wasn't all like school age kids. There were some at the time, adults come in that bought stuff, and
Yeah.
So
demographics is a big thing. So,
yeah.
sorry.
How quickly did it take for you to learn the abacus? That's what I want to know.
I still don't know the abacus.
No, he was
You're
doing
not
tablets.
not that much younger than me.
I know, but I can do that because I am younger.
I know it's hard to breathe up here at this altitude.
I hear you.
That's
It's
not
real
nice, man.
easy.
When you get above,
Remind me to tell you
above
about
5
the
foot,
joke the other
the
day.
air gets a little thinner.
Yeah, I hear you. Remind me to tell
So
you.
does the hair too, man.
Yeah,
Well, it's thin down there too. So
yeah. I got a joke for you later. So just hang on.
well, I'm gonna hop off. I just wanted to share that. I ain't gonna take up no more time. So.
You were just sitting here talking cards, man. You can hang tight. You can take off. It's up to you.
He's got to reach out to the parole officer, make sure he can.
The parole officer is in the other room, and she's waiting.
I was about to say,
she's waiting on me. She's waiting on me.
How's she doing from the Bon
Jovi
Jovi concert? How's she doing from the Bon Jovi concert anyway?
Yeah, John put me in the hot seat with his comment Monday night about farmersonly.com too. He had a bunch of questions about that.
You were surfing your phone, man. I thought you had a swipe right situation going on.
Yeah, I caught the third degree. Yeah, I had a lot of explaining to do. And it took me a second to realize why you posted it. I'm like, wait, because I said something about chickens. That's why you did it, I guess. I don't know.
That's called throwing a hand grenade into a room and running, man.
Drive-by fruiting.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. I'll be listening in the background.
All right.
See you, Herman.
See you, man.
All right. Giant food stores, 7-Eleven got most packs 86.89, then 89.90 started the show scene, and that's where I did most of my buying and trading. Sold my cards at school, went to an all-boys school. There you go, Yakov. There you
Is that
go.
the years or the age?
That's the age,
80,
man.
He went 85 years old. He went to an all-boys school. Hey, so I'm also a firm believer that Target and Walmart are going to be bumped out of this thing by Fanatics, which is okay by me. But there better be an alternative plan there, and it better not just be mail order, and it better not just be lids, because for as much mayhem as we've seen or we saw last summer at Target and Walmart, imagine a tiny little lid store. Being the only retail outlet for that stuff, that'd be crazy.
Well, that's why I think that you're going to look at the ballparks and the stadiums, right, and that in the various. And then I agree with the premise, but I think you still need opening day, and you still need big league, and you still need help me out here with another lower ends. You're going to need that at Walmart and Target to kind of help the kids get packs and 7-Eleven and in those type of situations. So I can see that in big lots and where we found our hidey hole stashes. I think
It
that's
has to
going to be
be. It can't be hit or miss, though, Brad. You can't say, "Well, this Walgreens has them" or "that Big Lots has them." It needs to be consistent across, and not some lids. All the lids need to have them, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
we when we grew up, we knew where to get cards. It wasn't today. It's like, oh, I just checked out my local Walmart or my local Target. There needs to be consistency where you can get this, and why can't the flagship series be the intro? And it should be the introductory level to all this.
Well, I was just throwing stuff up against the wall. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
hear
care
you.
what. Yeah,
I'm just from Philly and I'm angry.
yeah. Don't get me started throwing batteries at Santa Claus. I think even a Topps Chrome football or a Chrome product or two, to something a little bit of that as well needs to go a long way as well. Because I mean, you have to start pulling in, and the giving away the cards at the Little League at the beginning of the season, man, that's a fantastic idea. That is a fantastic, and if you sponsor a Little League baseball team like you should, you need to just go buy like a box or two boxes of Tops opening day or of something. Just give those away to the kids as a thing. Something. I mean, we really need to work on bringing more kids into the hobby. What about you? You've been too quiet, Logan. What do you think about?
You won't stop talking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm sorry, Logan.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking to you, John. I'm talking to Brad.
Let me go on mute.
I love you, Brad. You know that. But hey, cards were real prolific back when I was a kid. I mean, I could get them when we went to our Little League games. The concession stand at the Little League games had cards.
Yes,
they had cards there, and it was funny too because I distinctly remember 1972 Tops, and they were like the only place that had like Series 3 and Series 4. And I couldn't find them anywhere else. We didn't find them at the drugstores or the grocery stores or the convenience stores. I mean, because they were literally almost any place you went. I mean, Woolworths had them, Kmart. I mean, wherever you went, you could buy cards. And it's just not that way anymore. And I miss those days. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Uncle Rich says big box stores, and that's great. I'm a devout Costco customer, but again, you're also choking off a majority of the country that does not have a membership to Sam's Club or Costco or places like that. So, cards need to be available to everybody. So, everybody, everywhere. At least some portion of the cards. Not it doesn't need to be all the high end. Allen and Ginter doesn't need to be everywhere, and Bowman doesn't need to be everywhere. But you got to get people in. You got to give them a taste, right? As they say down there in North Philly on the corners. Give them a taste.
Well, we got somebody else that's calling here. We got Pepino Man. Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good until you wear that LA Dodger hat.
Just went Brokeback Mountain on us, man.
What you got going on today, sir?
Well, I mean, I already did my morning YouTube video.
There you go.
I got work tonight. I got to go to work tonight.
I hear you. So where would you like to see cards kind of hang out at? Where would you like to see cards be displayed or shown or sold?
Okay. I got the echo going on, but okay, as far as I can hear, everywhere when I was a kid, I saw cards sold everywhere. I used to buy them at the drive-through dairy, at 7-Eleven, Kmart, KB Toys at the mall. I mean, everywhere.
Inside your cereal boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The liquor store where I got my first job, the guy gave me a job because I used to go there every day to buy cards.
So, what's your thought about the school library? Having cards at the school library
That
and
that
reading
needs
books for
street.
cards.
That would be.
Yeah, or even like we used to have a store where you could buy pencils and scantrons and stuff like that for like a quarter or a nickel or a dime or something like that. How about having a pack of cards there as well? I mean, that would be kind of cool. Or you could give that as a reward system for kids growing up. You know, why not throw that in there as well? I'm telling you, man, Fanatics needs to hire me as like an idea man. That's what I'm telling you. I got ideas.
You
Execution
only
is my
have
problem.
idea or ideas?
Idea.
Idea. Okay.
I got some ideas. Well, anywhere else would you like to see cards? Anywhere else? Caesar? He may be on. Oh, there he
Yeah, he
goes.
had enough of you,
There he
man.
goes.
That was it.
That was it. He's like, I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done
He's
with
the
you.
naked cowboy. He's got to get his guitar and go hit Hollywood Boulevard.
I hear you.
Get some
Look at
tips.
it. So there's a good. Any thoughts about tickets? I'm guessing he's talking about the tickets gaining popularity and starting to sell more and more and more and becoming more of a. What do you think on your side, Mister Hall of Famer?
I love tickets. I've always loved tickets. I have saved tickets from every game, everything I have ever been to. I still have the majority of them. Um, as far as a collectible, they're definitely collectible. It's proof that you've been there, done that. And are they highly collectible? Yeah. Are they being hyped now? I got a feeling that's going to be the next big thing that's going to be hyped is tickets because we're definitely seeing the rise of prices on tickets. Um, I've got. I should take my camera off here and pan over to where you can see. I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Do it.
We're going remote.
Look over there. You see? Can you see all those pictures and things? There's tickets and everything between all those pictures.
Wow.
If that gives you any idea on how much I like tickets, I love tickets. So there you go. Sorry.
Well, that's our generation, though, right? Our generation had, you handed your ticket to somebody, they ripped it in half, and they gave it back to you. Everything's automated. Now, what do they do at NASCAR events? Because are they going all electronic, or do they still do paper tickets?
It's electronic for the most part, except for the big events like the Daytona 500 and other races like that. You can still get paper tickets, but like I'm going to Nashville in June, and it's all electronic. There's no paper tickets.
Right. I mean, you get it, right? Because you have to. What do you have there, Brad?
This is Luca's debut.
Oh, there you go.
So I went and found a.
Those are cool.
Those and they don't even. Let me guess. They have barcodes on them, right?
They
don't even. Again, the tickets Logan has on his wall are probably 3/4 of a ticket because they're ripped, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
The majority of them are ripped. I don't think I have any full tickets.
Yeah.
But as a collectible, yes.
Yeah. It's cool because I used to have Eagles season tickets, and it was cool seeing the tickets every year. It was a piece of, like cards, they were a piece of art. Even the Ticketron tickets, Mark Hoyle and I have kind of briefly touched on that at one point. They were like tie-dye or rainbow colored. It was just really cool stuff. And nowadays you understand why they're doing it, because you used to have to go to a Sears store to buy a ticket to a concert or a game if you weren't near the box office, right? Or JCPenney's, whomever. In order for it's funny because it gets more efficient, yet the prices go up, which is something we keep falling for as a society. Let's make it easier and efficient and cheaper to do the process, yet the tickets never go down in prices. So you're taking out the human element. Maybe there's a person with a scanner at a game now, right? I guess that's what happens, and you go through the turnstile. But it sucks. It really does suck, and it's not a dying art. It's a dead art. You're never gonna, there's a finite supply of these things now because the technology doesn't allow you to roll back like, oh, we're gonna do paper tickets on this game, and even paper tickets these days means printing out a PDF on an 8x10 piece of paper, but they're not going to have an old, a throwback the clock, print out tickets, buy tickets, and get them ripped. It's not cost efficient. So,
well, I know it back in the day, uh, at Ranger games, they used to reprint tickets. I mean, you had to prove that you had that you were at the seat. But if you called up the Texas Rangers and said, "Hey, I was at this game. I'd like to have a copy of the ticket," they would do that for you
huh?
back. I don't know, back probably 5, 7 years ago.
Okay.
You could say, "Hey, here's my PDF. Can you print me tickets?" And see, I mean, you just walk up to the ticket booth, and yeah, they print them up for you.
On
So
card stock or ticket stock, whatever, right?
yeah,
Uh,
they're not, they're not the season ticket holder stock. They're on
right.
the normal ticket stock that you
Right.
got. But yeah, you used to be able to do that. Let's go. Let's see. I got cards in the mid '80s. Easy shop. There you go.
Is
Come
that a
behind the
grocery
counter.
store or a convenience store? I
It's a
assume a convenience
convenience
store.
store.
Sounds like a CBD place to me, but
Yeah, I
whatever.
was thinking the same thing. Hey, bongs and baseball cards, man.
Right.
Awesome.
Let's see. I think Walmart and Target won't get cut out, but MJ, yeah, I could see that too. I could 100% see that too, Bo. I could
Hmm.
100% see it. And just for the if you think about it, there's that every time you put somebody in it, you add more money into the cost, and the originator makes less. Thought I'd show this 4 to 8th grade top locker stored with LCS, had shelves set up with 2 rows. I mean, this is awesome.
This is like Mike
This,
Damone in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The
I
guy
hear
that
you, man.
this is what
You
this guy.
did.
But I'm
Yeah.
down. I mean, this is cool, man. I mean, this is my brother used to sneak across in middle school. He used to like we the bus would drop him off, and then he'd sneak over to the convenience store, buy garbage pail kids, and then packs, and then come in and sell the singles.
Hmm.
So I understand completely. Electronic causing problems. Yes, Cooter, I would agree to an extent. My wife used to manage for her company season tickets. It does become a pain. It
Yeah,
does
he's
become
right.
a pain, but you can do it. It's not easy in electronic, but it can.
Everybody has to
Uh,
get a different app depending on
yep.
what team is
Yeah.
using what platform. It is a pain in the
Yeah.
Posterior.
balls.
Let's see. I was getting bad echoes. Well, that's all right. That's all right. You can call in again. Let's see. I should save and collect my first plane ticket. Boy,
They're
ain't that the
PDFs
truth.
too.
You should.
They're they're PDF. Well, first of all, well, I won't say that. That's morbid. So, but anyway, good luck, Herman.
So, John, last topic. We've got about 2, 3, 4 minutes. It will be my very, very first national this year. My
Hmm.
very first national. And we have. I am flying in because I am a hometown guy. We do have the party bus, part.
That's a myth, by the way. That bus.
Now, is it? Is it?
I am a executive platinum flyer on American Airlines, which sounds very important, but it just means you're the first cattle in the chute. That's all. You're still a cattle, and American Airlines will not miss an opportunity to disappoint you at any turn of the corner. So just beware.
Wow.
Yep. And you're
But
in Dallas. I mean, that's the headquarters of American, and Philadelphia's a hub. So either way, you get. I mean, it's not a surprise.
I hear you. I hear you. Just don't wear your Cowboys jersey when you're flying to
Do not
Philly.
wear your Cowboys or your dress, your Cowboys miniskirt in your case.
There you go. So I was thinking about taking a rental car,
Hmm.
like a $39 Geo Metro from the Philly airport, and just driving up to the Jersey
Yep.
airport.
Not
Which
airport, but
would you
hotel or
hotel?
wherever you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to take it to the airport and drop it off, and then Uber to
Okay. Yeah.
wherever.
Okay.
That way, which do you think it would be better, that or the train?
The train, you have to go back into the city, which doesn't. I mean, you guys you're from Texas, where everything's so spread out. So when I say go back into the city, it's a 10-15 minute train drive. It's not that long. So from the airport, you have to go back to the city, and into the city, you train on over. Uh, I don't know, man. You know, you're asking somebody who doesn't have those problems, right? I don't need to investigate those services because I have a car and I just go. So I haven't used those services, but it's always been a bugaboo how to get from Philly to Atlantic City in a mass transit format. So what you're doing is complicated because even though it's a $39, did you really price this out?
Not
Because
yet, not yet.
because keep in mind a one way car rental costs more than a return. You know, if you were to drop it back off in Philly type thing, right? Because
Right.
so somehow that car has to get back into the inventory of Philadelphia airports. You know that office of that rental company. Just keep that in mind. Don't make a decision until you've priced everything thoroughly. It's an hour drive. I'm serious when I say this. I'm thinking about renting a van for the week and just being a shuttle driver to try to negate some of these problems for people because it is a problem, and that's something that obviously our the show promoters did not or don't care enough to think. But it's a pretty big deal with the amount of people that fly in for this thing. It's such a big event that people fly in. They don't necessarily drive anymore, so. It's tough either way, but if you do that rental car thing, just make sure you got an all-in price on it and then you got to come back. And is that cheaper than just keeping a car for however many days? I'm not sure.
That's true.
I
Logan,
mean,
what do you think?
yeah,
Well, our plans right now is my son and I are going to fly to Charlotte on American, and then we're going to meet Val, and then we're going to fly from Charlotte to Philly, and we're going to take the train, and because it dead ends right into the convention center, because that's what we did back. I guess what was it, 2016, whenever the last one was.
yep,
And I mean, it worked out well. It's a little. It's like what John said. It's a little time consuming. It takes time to go do all those things and go from the airport to the train station and take the train and all those things. Because there's really no good way, in my opinion, to
right,
get to Atlantic City from Philly. I mean, if you're like an out of towner, like what we are. Um, so
yeah.
that's our plan for now. Um, and then we're just going to wing it past that. Of course, we're staying at a house on the beach. I think you're staying there too, Brad, right?
Yep.
So I
Got
mean,
an extra room? I'll give you a ride.
I, there might be.
Let me know.
I know there's
I'll
an
give you
extra
guys a
bed.
ride. I'm going to give Rich Klein, by the way. You and Dr. Jim have a ride. Don't worry about that. I hope you don't mind if I take the top down on the Jeep. Uh,
The
let
wind
our
blowing
hairs.
in Rich's hair.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Imagine all those cards on the way back flying out of the car. Just baseball cards all over the
Well, I'm
Atlantic City
shipping my cards
Expressway.
back, so I don't have to worry about it. I'll pay the extra shipping to have that done.
And
So
I'll deal with that too. I've made that offer to people as well. I can take the cards and, all the things you have to do that weekend. Shipping could be a pain in the butt. And if it is, just let me know. We'll make arrangements to. I'll get your cards. I'll ship them and all that junk. We'll figure something out. Okay, you got to get everybody home safely without worrying about all that stuff.
there's a nice comment here. I'm going to put this up. For a young entrepreneurial kid, cards was great proving ground to try your hand at a business. I was lucky because I had access to card shows early when no one else in the entire school was going. I really had a substantial collection by the time I was 9 years old and worked odd jobs around the neighborhood and had some cash. And the ability to go to the card shows and see how people are set up and also have access to a variety of supplies and larger scale items and buying. Boy, that's about the truth. That's the way it starts right there. That is the way it starts. Let's see. So Bo said, priced it out for you. The cheapest rental from Philadelphia the week of the National is minimum 148 using
That's a
Costco.
great price, by the way. You know why? Because say just the aggravation factor. You'll get to Atlantic City. That'll cut at least each way. It'll probably cut at least an hour and a half off.
Well,
Waiting for trains and stuff like that. So
my work gives me a very hefty discount
right?
for rental cars. So I don't
rent
know
with a credit card. Don't rent with a credit card. Your usually your credit card insurance and your driver's policy. Don't take their insurance, the rental car's insurance, all that stuff. So, but anyway, $148 is pretty damn good if you split that between 2 or 3 people, and you have access to a car at any time. That's pretty good, if you ask me.
Yep. Well,
and North Jersey's not a viable option because it's just as difficult to get down from North Jersey as it is like Newark or New York. It's just as difficult to get down to Atlantic City as it is from Philadelphia. Actually, more difficult and further.
Yeah.
So, but we can revisit this topic as we go, right? Because we have plenty of time to talk about it, and there's plenty of time to spitball on it for sure.
Yeah. So it's about that time. We any great comments stick out to you? Because I want to make sure that we announce the winner while we're sitting here doing this. Let's take an extra 3 or 4 minutes and go back over.
I like Rich's second to last comment.
Rich's second to last comment, which was let's
right
see.
Above the
there you go. Brad thinking that could be really dangerous.
That's in the running. Is that why you guys have all those tornadoes down there? Brad gets a thought.
Exactly.
And cows start flying.
That's it. I kind of like Herman's comment about, where was it?
That was good. 2 Men and a Baby.
Yeah, 2 Men and a Baby.
Yeah, I like that one.
Right out of the chute, man.
Right out of the chute too. Are we gonna give that one to? I think we need to give that one 2 Men and a Baby.
That's my choice.
I think we should deliberate in the jury room because I don't want Herman to think he has this thing won. Play the intro. I want Herman to suffer a little before he's awarded the prize.
Well, there is another comment by 3 or 4 other people. I think we may have to adjudicate and be that secret that secret behind the wall type thing. So we'll do that. Any final comments there? PSA Hall of Famer Logan, King NASCAR gentleman. Person.
We're like what we were talking about. We're about 3 months or so away from the National. I honestly cannot wait. It is absolutely my favorite time of the year. I can't wait to get there. Talking about NASCAR radio real quick. We've got Val and Jason, who are also on Hobby Hotline. We all do NASCAR radio together, and our new episodes drop every Friday. So give us a listen if you can.
Nothing like a good plug.
Yeah, no kidding.
What about you, Mr. John? Any last?
I'm going to say hi to Ken, who showed up and unannounced and said, "Look at this effing motley crew." That's a pretty good comment as well. It's great that it wasn't a high energy program today, but we got to talk about a few things, and we didn't talk about any really controversies, which is awesome.
No, I don't allow controversy.
I didn't think about that. We really didn't get into anything controversial. Wow.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, the hobby can be controversial at times, so we didn't have to. Thankfully, we just talked about stuff.
Yeah, I just don't like controversy. There's enough negative in the hobby. We need some positivity in the hobby. Well, I'm not going to
just announce Tom Brady just retired again.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Leland's just released me from buying that multi-million-dollar car.
Sucker.
And last but certainly not least, Skid Mark.
There you go.
Skid Mark. Y'all have a fantastic week, and for baseball fans, hit them where they ain't.